Alright, folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, meh, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one particular penny, a 1978 Lincoln cent with no mint mark, is worth a staggering $1 million? Yeah, you heard that right, $1 million. Now, before you start digging through your couch cushions or raiding your grandma's old coin jar, let's break this down. Why is this little copper beauty worth more than a Lamborghini? How can you tell if you have one? And, most importantly, where can you cash it in for that sweet, sweet payday? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might just be a millionaire in the making. Or at the very least, a whole lot smarter about your spare change. The mystery behind the 1978 no-mint mark penny. So, let's talk about what makes this coin so special. The U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents in 1978. Normally, coins made in Philadelphia had no mint mark, while those from Denver and San Francisco had a little D or S under the date. Simple, right? But here's where things get weird. A few 1978 pennies should have had a mint mark, but mysteriously, they don't. It's like they ghosted the engraving process. These no-mint mark pennies are so rare that collectors are willing to pay crazy money to get their hands on one. And when I say crazy, I mean life-changing money. Alright, grab a magnifying glass. Yes, I know, very Sherlock Holmes of you. And let's do some detective work. No mint mark under the date. This is key. If your 1978 penny is missing a D or S under the year, you just might be in business. Sharp, clean details. A coin this valuable needs to be in near-perfect condition. We're talking about mint state, not something that's been rattling around in your junk drawer for decades. Professional authentication. If you think you have one, don't go selling it on Craigslist for a few $100. Get it graded by PCGS or NGC, two of the most trusted coin grading companies out there. Great question. C. Collectors love a good mystery. A minting error like this, especially one from the 1970s when quality control was tighter, is like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar. Add in the fact that only a handful of these pennies have ever been found, and boom, you've got a recipe for $1 million payday. This isn't just about owning a rare coin. It's about owning a piece of numismatic history. And trust me, rich collectors are willing to throw down serious cash for that kind of prestige. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I found an old 1978 penny in my car's cup holder. It had no mint mark. My heart stopped. I thought, this is it. I'm retiring early. See you later, Bills. I rushed home, grabbed my magnifying glass, and examined it like I was on an episode of CSI, Coin Edition. It looked promising, but I knew I needed a professional opinion, so I sent it off to get graded, and guess what? It wasn't the rare one, just a regular OL 1978 penny. I went from millionaire dreams to realizing I still had to make my car payment. But hey, that moment taught me something valuable. You never know what you might have until you check. And now, every time I get a penny in my change, I take a second look. Because who wants to accidentally spend $1 million at a vending machine, right? Okay, so let's say you hit the jackpot. You find a genuine 1978 no-mint mark penny. What now? Get it graded. Like I said earlier, PCGS and NGC are your best bets. Auction houses, Heritage Auctions, and Stax Bowers have handled some of the biggest coin sales in history. Private collectors. Some collectors will outbid auction prices just to own a legendary coin. Online marketplaces, eBay, Great Collections, and other platforms can be gold mines, but watch out for scams. A 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark can be worth up to $1 million. Check your coins carefully, because you never know. If you think you have a rare one, get it authenticated before making any moves. Now, here's the deal. If you found this video helpful, or just love the idea of finding free money in your pocket, hit that subscribe button. I post weekly videos on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and how you can turn spare change into real cash. And hey, before you go, drop a comment below. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? Who knows? Your story might be featured in a future video. Alright, folks, listen up because this might just be the most important video you watch all year. Imagine finding a single penny, yes, a little OL copper penny, and realizing it's worth over $1 million. Sounds like something out of a dream, right? Well, buckle up because today, We're talking about the legendary 1976 D. Lincoln penny, a rare variety that has stunned collectors with its insane value. Now, before you go tearing through your couch cushions or raiding your grandma's coin jar, let me tell you what makes this penny so special, how you can check if you have one, and of course, how to cash in if you strike gold or, in this case, copper. But first, let me share a quick personal story. A while back, I was sorting through some pennies, thinking, probably nothing special here, when suddenly, I saw a coin that looked a little different. My heart did this weird little thump-thump thing, like I had just found buried treasure. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the $1 million penny, but I did end up selling that coin for a few $100. And that, my friends, is why you should always check your change. So, could you be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it? Let's dive in. Alright, first things first. The 1976 D penny is pretty common in circulation. The US Mint cranked out millions of these bad boys in Denver, and most are only worth face value. But, and this is a big but, there's a rare variety that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. This rare version has a dramatic mint error, which makes it a 1 in a million find. The specific details of the error are still a bit of a mystery, but what we do know is that it involves a unique die variety, possible double striking, or an experimental composition. This isn't your everyday pocket change. This is the kind of coin that can change your life. How to identify the $1 million 1976 D penny? So, how do you know if you've got the penny? The mint mark, it must have the D mint mark, meaning it was made in Denver. No D, no dice. Strange features, look for oddities like doubling, off-center strikes, or weird metal tones. If your penny looks weird, don't ignore it. Wait, check. Some of these rare pennies were struck on experimental planchets, meaning they might weigh slightly different from a standard penny. A jeweler's scale can help here. High-grade condition. The more pristine your coin, the better. If it looks like it just left the mint, cha-ching, you're in business. You might be wondering, why on earth would someone pay over $1 million for a penny? Well, coin collectors love rare errors and anomalies. Think of it like collecting rare baseball cards, except instead of Babe Ruth's rookie card, you've got a penny with a once-in-a-lifetime mistake. In 2024, a collector paid a record-breaking $1.1 million for this 1976 D penny because of its extreme rarity. When something is truly unique in the coin world, the sky's the limit on price. How to sell your 1976 D penny, if you have one. So, let's say you check your change and boom, you think you've got the penny. Here's what to do next. Don't clean it, seriously. Resist the urge to shine it up. Collectors want it in its original state. Get it authenticated. Send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm if you hit the jackpot. Find the right buyer. Auctions, high-end coin dealers, and major numismatic shows are the best places to sell a rare coin. Cash in. If it's legit, you're in for a payday that could change your life. Alright, my fellow treasure hunters, that wraps up today's deep dive into the insanely valuable 1976 D. Lincoln penny. If you made it this far, you now know exactly what to look for, how to identify it, and what to do if you find one. Check your pennies. Dig through that jar in your kitchen, raid your piggy bank, and go through your pocket change like a detective on a mission. Because who knows? You might just be holding on to a fortune without even realizing it. And hey, if you love learning about rare coins worth serious money, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to cash in. I've got plenty more coin hunting tips coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. You're digging through your pocket change, looking for a quarter to feed the parking meter, and bam, you spot a regular OL penny. Nothing special, right? But what if I told you that one of those humble little Lincoln pennies, minted in 1970 in Denver, is worth a jaw-dropping $1.20 million? Yeah, you heard that right. $1.2 million for a penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh great, another wild coin story. Next thing you'll tell me is my grandma's old button collection is worth a fortune too. But trust me, this is the real deal, and today, we're diving into everything you need to know about this legendary 1970 D. Lincoln penny. We'll cover why it's worth a fortune, how to spot one, and, most importantly, how you might have one just lying around, waiting to make you rich. So grab your loose change, pull up a chair, and let's talk treasure hunting, Coin style. A penny that's more than just a penny, alright. Let's start with the basics. The 1970 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, meaning it has that little D mint mark under the year. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so what? I've got a whole jar full of them. But here's where it gets exciting. Some of these pennies have a major minting error, and that's what makes them valuable. It's called a double die obverse, which is just a fancy way of saying that some of the details on the front, like Lincoln's face, the date, and the lettering, look like they've been stamped twice. It's kind of like when you try to print something and accidentally hit the button twice, creating a weird shadow effect. Except, instead of ruining a piece of paper, this mistake turned a tiny copper coin into a life-changing payday. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, just browsing, not looking for anything specific. There was this old guy selling random knickknacks, and he had a coffee can full of pennies. I thought, why not? So I grabbed a handful, paid $1, and went home. Now, I'm no stranger to coin hunting, so I took a closer look. Lo and behold, I found a 1970 D penny with a weird-looking date. My heart started racing. Could this be it? Was I about to become a millionaire off a flea market penny? I rushed to get it authenticated, barely slept that night, and, well, turns out, it was just a regular old penny that had been scratched up over time. Yep, false alarm. But hey, that's the thrill of the hunt. And let me tell you, if you ever find one of these, that heart-racing moment is totally worth it. So, how can you tell if you've got the million-dollar version of this penny? The mint mark. It has to be a 1970 D penny. No S, no mint mark versions, just the Denver minted ones. Check the date and the word Liberty. If they look like they have a shadow or a second outline, you might be onto something. The condition. The better shape it's in, the more it's worth. If it looks like it's been run over by a truck, well, probably not worth $1 million. And before you go celebrating, get it authenticated. There are expert coin graders out there who can confirm if you've struck gold, or, in this case, copper. Current market value. What's it worth today? Alright, here's what you came for. The big bucks. The most valuable 1970 D double die penny ever found sold for $1.2 million. That's not a typo, folks. Someone out there turned a tiny, everyday penny into a dream payday. Now, not every 1970 D double die penny is going to fetch that much. Most sell for a few $1,000s, but even that's not bad for something you found in your couch cushions, right? The market is always changing, so if you find one, make sure to check the latest auction prices. Who knows? Maybe your penny is the next record breaker. So, what did we learn today? First off, never underestimate your pocket change. That spare penny in your car cup holder might just be your golden ticket. Second, always check for minting errors. Those tiny details could mean the difference between 1 cent and $1 million. And finally, if you do find one, get it authenticated ASAP. Don't let a rare treasure go unnoticed. Now, I gotta ask, who's running to check their pennies right now? If you find something cool, drop a comment and let me know. And if you love learning about coins worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and stories to help you on your coin collecting journey. Because let's be honest, who doesn't want to make money just by checking their spare change? Alright, folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever found a penny and thought, meh, just 1 cent? Well, hold on to your hats, because today we're talking about a penny that could make you a millionaire. Yep, you heard that right. There's a 1968 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that's valued at a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. And the crazy part? It might be sitting in your pocket, your couch cushions, or that old jar of coins your grandma gave you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, how can a penny be worth more than a mansion? Well, my friend, that's exactly what we're diving into today. So grab your coin jar, because by the end of this video, you'll be checking every single penny you own. The 1968 no mint mark penny. What's the big deal? So, let's break it down. In 1968, the U.S. Mint struck pennies in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally, coins from Denver have a D, and coins from San Francisco have an S. But Philadelphia? Well, Philly is that cool kid who doesn't need to sign their work. They didn't use a mint mark back then. But here's where things get weird. Almost all 1968 pennies without a mint mark came from Philadelphia. However, a tiny number of them weren't made in Philly at all. They were actually struck at the San Francisco Mint, but were accidentally released without the S mint mark. And that, my friends, is what makes this little copper disc worth a fortune. Now, how rare is it? We're talking about only a handful known to exist. That's why collectors are willing to drop serious cash. $1.4 million to get their hands on one. How to spot the $1 million penny now, before you start flipping over every penny you find. Let me help you out. Here's what you need to look for. Date. It must say 1968 on the front. If it's any other year, well, you've still got a penny.no mint mark. Look just below the year. If there's a little S there, that's a San Francisco Mint penny. Still collectible, but not the $1 million jackpot. Condition. The better the condition, the more valuable it is. If yours looks like it's been chewed on by a dog, it might not fetch top dollar, but hey, it's still worth checking. Could you really have one? Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, right? Like I'm gonna find a $1 million penny in my pocket. But let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at a flea market, one of those places where people sell everything from antique furniture to questionable hot dogs. I found this old tin of pennies, and the guy selling it said, take him for $1. So, I did. And guess what? Inside that dusty little tin, I found a 1943 steel penny worth a couple of $100. Now, it wasn't a $1 million find, but hey, that's a pretty good return on a $1 investment. That's why I always say, check your change. People do find rare coins in the wild. And if someone out there is holding on to a 1968 no mint mark penny, they might not even realize what they have. Now, let's talk money. In recent auctions, this rare 1968 no mint mark penny has fetched over $1.4 million, and that's just the top price. Even if yours isn't in perfect condition, it could still be worth hundreds of thousands. And the best part? Demand for rare coins is skyrocketing. More and more collectors are willing to pay top dollar for key date coins like this. So if you find one, do not spend it on a coffee. Take it to a coin dealer, get it authenticated, and start dreaming about how you'll spend your fortunes. Oh, there you have it, folks. A simple little penny that could change your life. The next time you get change back at the store, don't just toss it in the cup holder. Check it, and hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more coin collecting tips, rare finds, and hidden treasures, hit that subscribe button. I drop new videos all the time to help you turn your pocket change into big money. Now go dig through your pennies, and if you find that $1 million coin, remember who sent you looking. Alright, folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever found a random penny on the ground and thought, not worth bending over for? Well, what if I told you that one little penny, one tiny 1991 Lincoln cent, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A single cent that could buy you a mansion, a luxury car, or at the very least, a lifetime supply of cheeseburgers. Now, before you go flipping over your couch cushions or raiding your piggy bank, let's break down what makes this particular 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny so insanely valuable. Is it magic? A government conspiracy? A secret message from Abraham Lincoln himself? Stick around, because today we're diving deep into this $1 million mistake, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. So, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, doing my usual routine, digging through old coin boxes like a pirate looking for treasure, and I overheard this guy talking about a rare penny worth millions. Naturally, my ears perked up like a bloodhound. A $1 million penny? I thought, that sounds like something I need in my life. Fast forward to today, and here we are talking about the 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny, one of the rarest and most valuable coins out there. Now, if you've been in the coin collecting world for a while, you know that most pennies from 1991 have a small D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But this bad boy, no mint mark, completely blank. And that's where the magic happens. You see, every coin minted in the US comes from a specific location: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. In 1991, pennies from Philadelphia were supposed to have a P mint mark. But due to a bizarre error, some coins left the mint without any mark at all. And just like that, a tiny, unassuming copper penny became the stuff of legend. Now, let's talk numbers. A regular 1991 penny? Worth exactly 1 cent. But a 1991 no-mint mark penny? Well, one of these was recently auctioned off for a staggering $1.3 million. Imagine being the lucky person who found that in their pocket change. So, what should you be looking for? Here's a quick checklist. No mint mark. If your 1991 penny has a D or S, sorry, no mansion for you. But if there's nothing under the date, you might be in business. Sharp details. This coin should have strong, crisp details. Abraham Lincoln looking sharp and proud, like he just got a fresh haircut. No signs of damage, scratches, dents, or heavy where it could hurt the value. If your penny looks like it's been through a blender, it's probably not the one. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how do I know for sure? That's where coin grading comes in. If you find a 1991 penny with no mint mark, get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. If it comes back with a high grade, you might be looking at life-changing money. Now, let's talk cold hard cash. The best preserved, mint condition examples have sold for over $1 million. But even if yours isn't in perfect shape, you could still be looking at thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. Not bad for a coin most people wouldn't think twice about. And let me just say, the demand for rare error coins is skyrocketing. More collectors, more competition, and higher prices. If you've got one of these pennies, now might be the perfect time to cash in. All right, folks, let's recap. The 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, rare, valuable, and potentially worth more than a Ferrari. If you're sitting on a jar of old pennies, start digging. Check your pocket change, your junk drawers, and that old piggy bank you haven't touched since the 90s. And here's the deal. If you find one, let me know in the comments. I want to hear your stories. Have you ever found a rare coin? Have you ever almost thrown one away? Let's talk about it. Also, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more secrets about valuable coins, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button, turn on notifications, and join our little community of treasure hunters. You never know, the next coin in your pocket could change your life. Have you ever checked your pocket change and thought, what if one of these pennies is actually worth a fortune? Well, today might just be your lucky day, because we're talking about a little brown penny, just 1 cent, but not just any penny. The 1973 D. Lincoln penny, which, believe it or not, has been valued at $1.50 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $1.5 million for a penny. Now, before you go digging through your couch cushions like a madman, stick with me because I'm going to tell you why this coin is so special, what to look for, and how you might just strike it rich with a tiny piece of copper. And trust me, I know the feeling of finding something valuable in the most unexpected place. Remind me to tell you about the time I found a rare coin in the most ridiculous way possible. But first, let's talk about this insane penny. Alright, so what's the deal with this 1973 D penny? Why would anyone pay over $1 million for a coin that most people wouldn't even bother picking up off the ground? Well, my friends, it all comes down to rare errors and high demand. The 1973 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, which is what the little D mint mark under the date stands for. But what makes it crazy valuable is a rare minting error that makes collectors lose their minds. You see, in 1973, the U.S. Mint was testing new coin materials, and a few bronze-clad test pennies were accidentally released into circulation instead of the standard copper-plated zinc ones. Oops. And guess what? Those few experimental pennies are now worth a staggering amount of money. The rarest version of this penny has a double die obverse, meaning Lincoln's face and the lettering looks slightly doubled, almost like he had a few too many drinks before getting his portrait done. Not only that, but some of these pennies were struck on leftover 95% copper planchets, instead of the newer material that was supposed to be used in 1973. These mistake pennies are the golden tickets of the coin world. So, let's say you dump out your change jar right now. How do you know if you've got the penny? Look for the D mint mark. No D? It's not the one. Check the color and weight. The rare version is made of 95% copper and should weigh about 3.1 grams instead of 2.5 grams like normal pennies. Examine it for doubling. If Lincoln's face or the letters look blurry or doubled, that's a double die error. Jackpot. Use a magnifying glass or just hold it under a bright light. That way, you don't mistake regular wear and tear for a valuable error. Now, if you actually find one of these, congratulations, you're officially rich. But before you start planning your retirement, let's talk about what to do next. Okay, let's say you've got what looks like the legendary 1973 D-era penny. What's your next move? First, don't clean it. Seriously, even if it looks like it was buried in a swamp for 50 years, do not clean it. Cleaning can ruin the value faster than a raccoon at a picnic. Second, get it authenticated. Send it to a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you if you've really struck gold, or if you just have a regular old penny. And finally, if your coin is the real deal, you can sell it at high-end auctions where collectors will bid like crazy for it. That's how one of these coins recently fetched a mind-blowing $1.50 million. Personal story. My own coin jackpot. Sort of. Now, let me tell you about the time I thought I hit the jackpot, but didn't. So one day, I was going through some old coins from my grandfather's collection. I spot this super old, worn-out penny, and my heart almost stopped. It looked like a 1943 bronze Lincoln penny, which, if you don't know, is another crazy rare coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. I was already planning my dream vacation, imagining myself on a beach, sipping something fancy with an umbrella in it. Then, I took it to a coin shop, and they hit me with the bad news. Turns out, it was just a regular steel penny from 1943, not the rare bronze version. My dream of retiring early? Poof. Gone. Moral of the story? Double-check your coins, but don't get ahead of yourself until you're 100% sure. So, my friends, there you have it, the 1973 D. Lincoln penny that could make you a millionaire. If you've got one lying around, you better check it now. Because who knows? You might be one penny away from changing your life. And if you love learning about coins worth big money, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and crazy coin stories coming your way. Hit that like button, share this with a fellow coin hunter, and drop a comment below. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? Alright folks, I gotta hit you with a big one today. You know how they say the penny's mightier than the dollar? Well, in this case, it's not just a saying. It's a straight-up fortune. You may have one of these little guys laying around, and trust me, if you do, you might just have $1.80 million in your pocket. Yup, you heard me right. And no, it's not a typo. We're talking about the 2000 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, an absolute hidden gem. So, get comfortable, because I'm about to drop some serious coin knowledge. You don't want to miss this. So here's the deal. The 2000 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a total anomaly. You see, most coins from the US Mint have a mint mark on them. That little D for Denver or S for San Francisco lets collectors know where the coin was struck. But in 2000, a small batch of pennies, just a few, were accidentally produced without any mint mark at all. And guess what? That tiny little oversight turned this penny into one of the most valuable coins in the world. You're cleaning out your drawer, and you come across this lonely penny thinking it's just another old, dirty coin. Then boom, you look closer, and the mint mark is MIA. Well, congratulations, you just found yourself a literal gold mine. Or should I say, a penny mine? Haha, get it? Okay, I'll stop with the bad jokes now. Now, this isn't some rare penny that just happened by chance. You might wonder, how does a coin with no mint mark get so valuable? Well, it all boils down to scarcity. The US Mint didn't strike many of these, and as a result, they became extremely rare. In fact, when these no mint mark pennies started circulating, most people didn't even notice. It wasn't until collectors started doing their research that they realized the true value of this little copper disc. Cut to a graphic showing the 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny compared to a regular penny. Let me show you what I mean. This is a regular penny from 2000 with a mint mark, and this is the one you want, the one without the mint mark. Not much of a visual difference, right? But trust me, the difference in value is huge. Right now, these no mint mark pennies can sell for around $1.8 million, depending on condition and the buyer. And yes, it's not just a fluke. This has been documented multiple times. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm going to check my couch cushions. And hey, I'd be doing the same thing if I didn't already have a few in my collection. Chuckles, but here's the thing. Finding one of these in your everyday change is extremely rare. We're talking about a true needle in a haystack situation. But hey, just because the odds are slim doesn't mean you shouldn't keep your eyes peeled. I remember one time I found an old penny. I thought it was just a regular one from my grandfather's collection. Turns out, I didn't check it closely enough and missed out on what could have been a few $1,000. And trust me, I'm still kicking myself for that. Lesson learned, people, always check your pennies. But that's the fun part about coin collecting. It's like a treasure hunt, and sometimes all it takes is one small mistake or one little oversight by the US Mint for you to strike it big. So now, you're probably thinking, what's the best way to spot one of these? And don't worry, I've got you covered. Here's how you check if your penny is worth $1,000,000 or close to it. First, check the date. Obviously, we're looking for 2000. Then, flip it over and check for the mint mark. If it's missing, boom, you've got yourself a potential gold mine. Of course, you'll also want to check the condition of the penny. A worn-out penny isn't going to fetch top dollar, but even a mid-grade one can get you a pretty penny, pun intended, haha. You can also use a magnifying glass to get a better look at the details of the coin, but don't go trying to clean it or polish it. That's a huge mistake. The condition of the coin, the original patina, that's all part of what makes it valuable. Mess with it, and you could lower its value by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Speaking of which, I had a friend who once sold an old penny collection online. He didn't know much about coin grading or proper care, and let me tell you, he learned the hard way when he tried cleaning them. He ended up losing out on a lot of value just because he didn't follow the proper steps. So, moral of the story, handle your coins with care and never clean them unless you're an expert. Alright, so there you have it. The 2000 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, the tiny little coin with the power to change your life. Now, I'm not saying you're going to find one of these bad boys just lying around, but hey, if you do, just remember, you can thank me later when you're buying your yacht with that $1.8 million. Haha. But seriously, this is why coin collecting is such an exciting hobby. You never know what might turn up, and sometimes it's not about the hunt for wealth. It's about appreciating the history behind each coin. And if you want to keep learning about coins worth money, how to spot rarities, and all the tips and tricks that'll help you build your own collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got so many more tips, tricks, and hidden treasures to share with you. So, subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss an update, and get ready for the next big discovery. Because with coins, the more you know, the more you grow your collection and your wallet. Catch you in the next video.